I think it's safe to say that Season 5 of the My Hero Academia anime is the least popular season so far. While it's hard to find out the exact ratings for the show, if you look on my anime list, it is the lowest scored season so far, and most people I've seen talk about it on social media have had negative things to say about this season. But why exactly is this season not as good as the others? And why are many fans of both the anime and manga upset with what's been going on this season? Well, that's what I'm here to talk about. So let's take a look at the current state of the My Hero Academia anime. So Season 5 starts off with what is essentially a filler episode, just to remind us of the characters' quirks, and spends half the episode doing just that. We had an episode like this in Season 4, so this isn't anything new, and I'm gonna call this episode Episode 0 because nothing in it really matters. There's an after credits scene, but this same scene gets shown at the beginning of the next episode anyways. Then Episode 1 starts off with Dabi attacking Endeavor and Hawks after the big showdown with the Nomu at the end of Season 4. Then the best waifu in the entire series, Mirko, shows up to save them. We then get that after credits scene from Episode 0 shown again, where we find out Hawks is undercover working for the League of Villains. We also get some much needed character development of Hawks. Then, a little later on in the episode, Endeavor shows up to his house, and we get a look at how broken Endeavor's family is, which is set up for one of the later arcs. And then the episode ends off with Midoriya having a strange dream about All for One and the previous users of One for All, which sets up some mystery about Midoriya's powers. It was a pretty good first episode, and then we get into episode 2 with Midoriya's dream finishing and him talking to All Might, who has no idea what the dream means, which adds even more mystery to his powers. And then one of the least popular arcs in the manga starts with the battle between Class 1A and Class B. Also, Shinso's here too, and I feel like the only reason he's there is to fight Midoriya, because the first time they fought, some strange things happened with Midoriya seeing the previous One for All users when he got mind controlled. So now the reason I went over those two episodes is to say that Season 5 started off really strong, except for Episode 0, but we're not counting that one. These first two episodes set up some very important and interesting things and felt like a very good way to start off the season. But right around here is where it started going downhill. Now, I do like a lot of the things the Class 1A vs 1B training arc does, like with what they do with Tokoyami, Bakugo, Shinso, and Midoriya. But this whole battle feels rather pointless. It only really serves to show some new moves that some characters have learned, and to show you that they've all improved, but some still have stuff to work on. And it shows off Midoriya's new power, which kind of feels like the main reason this arc even existed in the first place. I don't hate the arc, but going from, in Season 4, the fantastic fight between Endeavor and the Nomu, which looked like it might mean something big is going to happen in the next season, to what you actually get, which is a joint training between the two classes, will make some people start to lose interest and not enjoy the show as much. I personally enjoyed the arc, but it did drag out quite a bit. And then we went from this training arc to the Endeavor's agency arc, which was not supposed to happen. Now, I hate to be the person to complain and say that the manga did it better, but the manga did it better. For those unaware, the Endeavor's agency arc was not supposed to take place after the joint training arc, but an arc by the name of MVA, which is one of the most popular and amazing arcs in the manga, was supposed to have taken place. And it looks as if the arc will still happen, but in a different order, which could have been fine, but 3 episodes into the Endeavor's agency arc, it spoils the outcome of some things that happen in the MVA arc. Because the MVA arc takes place 2 weeks before what's currently happening in the anime. So you see certain things that will completely ruin the most impactful and amazing scenes of it, since you'll know the outcome of what happens to certain characters. I won't get into detail about it since it will spoil it, but trust me, if you're an anime only watcher, you'll be wishing they didn't swap the arcs out. Now, I am upset that they did this, but what honestly upsets me the most is the reason. No one's come out and confirmed this, but it seems like they're sacrificing the story because of a movie. So in case you didn't know, the next My Hero Academia movie takes place during this arc, and it releases in a week from recording this. So to have people be able to understand what's going on in the movie, they needed people to see this arc now. But the sad thing is that because of that, they messed up the story. And one of the more recent episodes made it pretty clear that that's most likely why they did it. The episode I'm talking about is episode 15 of this season, and it's just an episode to promote the movie. It has 4 of the main female characters going to a beach to play volleyball, and then they catch some criminals that were delivering a quirk-boosting drug called Trigger. Which, by the way, is something we've never heard of before, not even in the manga. And from what I've read, this trigger drug seems to play a role in the plot for the movie. So it's an episode that has zero importance to the story being thrown in here just to promote a movie. And I feel even if you're not a manga reader, you probably don't appreciate this filler episode coming out of nowhere. Now there's other problems too, not just with them rearranging this arc for the sake of a movie that probably won't even be that good anyways. One of the more recent episodes is a good example of the other problems this season has had. In the episode, it returns to what Endeavor and the 3 main boys are doing, and then it has Endeavor being sad about his family, and I really thought the scene with Endeavor sitting down and thinking about his family was really touching. But then they hit you with a barrage of flashbacks, and at first I was feeling sad, but then it felt like they were constantly wanting me to get sadder and sadder with all of these flashbacks. But it ends up taking a decent chunk of time out of the episode. I mean, I get it, you need to make sure the anime doesn't pass the manga, but when there are this many flashbacks, it gets really hard to enjoy the anime. And while I'm really disappointed with the current state of the My Hero Academia anime, I know that the series will return to being just as good as it was before. The most recent episode does have the anime heading in a better direction. It adapted the fight with Bakugo, Todoroki, and Deku versus the villain who could control the paint lines on the road. I don't remember his name. And it was a pretty good fight that was just as cool as it was in the manga when they finally beat a villain faster than Endeavor. And there weren't really any flashbacks this time. It was just a really good episode. And I believe it'll start getting better from here on out, because the Endeavor's agency arc is basically over. I'm guessing we have 1 to 2 more episodes left before we finally get into the arc that was supposed to have happened already. And even though they've ruined the impact some scenes in the MVA arc will have, it's still an incredible arc that will hopefully bring My Hero back to being a great anime again. So my closing thoughts are that yes, right now the My Hero Academia anime is not great. Season 5 started off strong, but on top of adapting an already unpopular arc, arcs got swapped and a movie got promoted at the cost of the story. But I think that all of that is about to change with the arrival of the MVA arc. And I think people are going to start looking forward to a new episode every week again, and we'll start loving this series again. At least I hope so. A part of me is a little worried that with the limited amount of episodes we have left, they might rush the adaptation of that arc and might completely mess it up, but I'm hopeful that that won't be the case and we'll get a good adaptation, and hopefully with the next arc, the state of the My Hero Academia anime will soon start improving.